Hey, good evening or good afternoon, y'all. It's Saturday. It's your girl Sharita, the Behavior and Learning Strategist, coming at you from the Word Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. How y'all doing? I'm very excited to talk to y'all about this amazing topic today. I'm just cleaning up. This video is going to be coming to you soon. 5 ways to improve word problems. Okay, for your child, for them to be able to do word problems on their own. But I got something to talk to y'all about today. Today we talking about these schools, honey. I saw a video on TikTok, and you probably saw it. I shared it, where a teacher was just fed up. She was just fed up. She had left the school early because she was being threatened by a student. And she sent the student out of the classroom, and then administration sent the student right back into the classroom. Now, this is not the first time I've heard that. This is a common complaint of teachers. So I hashtagged everybody on this. I hashtagged moms, dads, teachers, principals, schools, because this is a topic that we really need to talk about and find a solution for, okay? So, if our children are in schools, threatening the teachers, disrespecting teachers, their behavior problems in the classroom, are the parents to blame? Are moms to blame? Are dads to blame? Are the parents to blame? Now, y'all know I don't get down like that. I don't do the blame game, okay? I don't do the blame game, y'all. I talk solutions. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. We're going to be focused on a solution. Because something needs to be done. Okay? So first I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself and my background. I have a unique perspective on this because I was a special education teacher. Actually, I was a mental health specialist first, and I worked to improve students' behavior and social skills, okay? That's when I was a mental health specialist at UMD&J in Newark, New Jersey, my stomping ground, my hometown, okay? Then I went on to become a teacher, a special education teacher, because I noticed that the kids, when they would come into our program, it's called the Challenge Program. It's a partial hospitalization program. So they would come in, leave school a little early, and then come into our program, stay until about 5:30. Okay. When they would come, we would help them with their homework for a period of time. And I saw so many behaviors around them getting very overwhelmed, getting upset, and trying to get out of doing their work. And I discovered that a lot of them couldn't read. Some of them couldn't even write their names on their own. They couldn't spell. They could not do their work on their own. Like, if we walked away for a second, they would act out so that we would come back. Also, they started throwing tantrums. So we were managing their behavior, and that was getting in the way of doing homework. So I could identify with moms, and plus I'm a mom myself. I can identify with moms when I do the consultations. I talk to moms, and they're saying, like, I have to sit right next to my child during homework, or else homework won't get done. Okay, so I know what that's about. All right. So what ended up happening is I just decided I wanted to go into the school because I felt like we were only tackling half of the problem in my position as a special education. As a mental health specialist. So I became a substitute teacher. I bounced around from school to school, and then I was able to go and to Newton Street School in Newark and work as a permanent substitute teacher. That was my title for the year. My students were, it was a behavior disabled class, and they were in special education for their behavior mostly. But again, I noticed most of them could not read. And they were struggling, okay? So what I ended up doing was I ended up designing a behavior modification program inside of the classroom, okay? And when they came back the next day, it was a whole new game, y'all. It was like, there's a new sheriff in town. This is how it's going down, okay? all the behaviors, the common behaviors they were doing, they knew what the consequences would be. That it was up on the wall. Okay. Also, there was a reward system, and they had to earn a certain amount of points in order to be able to get promoted, right, and then get the rewards. And then with that in place, with that structure in place, and I worked on it. Okay. After a couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, there was a drastic change in the classroom. Before you walk in the classroom, they'd be acting out, wouldn't be listening, fighting, throwing chairs, kicking desks, cursing at the teacher, running out the classroom. I remember putting my desk next to the wall, like, ain't nobody running out of this classroom, next to the door. So I had to really work with them on that, and to get them to stay in their seats and focus on what I was writing on the board, and be ready when I called them to participate, and to start to read on their own, to be able to write on their own without the help of an aide. It was a job. I was in my late 20s, but we got it done. Okay. So I'm saying all this to say I understand as a teacher how it's very difficult to deal with behavior while you're trying to teach. Now, with that in place, my students' grades went up. They started doing their homework and classwork. They started improving on their tests. You know, their behavior improved dramatically, right? All those rewards. And one of the students at the end of the year, and this is my first, I wasn't a certified teacher yet, but I was a permanent substitute. But I left the school after the year, and then I was told that one of my students was transitioning out of special education into a general education setting. The second year of my teaching, I was a resource pull-out teacher, and I had the same experience as well. So I was like, I want to keep doing this. I want people to keep coming to me, telling me that your student that was in special ed and receiving special education services is now improved so much that they don't need them anymore, right? So that's the mission of the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, is to improve our children's reading so that they can read at or above their grade level. I believe all kids should be able to read on their grade level or above. So I'm passionate about that. So that's one of the missions, and then function at or above their grade level. And then at the same time, if they have any special education services due to behavior or due to learning difficulties, or because they never mastered it, you know, when they were younger, the mission is to eliminate those services, to improve them so much so that they no longer need those services anymore. Okay, and that's what we do here. That's what we focusing on. All right. So this is what I'm gonna check real quick the camera, because it's turned around. This is my first time doing it this way and not seeing what's going on. So I'm just gonna make sure we all straight. Okay, we live. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, welcome. We're gonna talk about it today. Thank you so much for joining. I'm here seeing if I can okay, there we go. So I can see you guys, I can see myself, and I can see if you have any comments. If you have any comments, feel free to post them, and then I will interact with you when I see the comments. I will respond here. And also, if at the end of the live, I'll be here until 1 o'clock. At the end of the live, if I haven't responded to you yet, I will double back and make sure I respond to your comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay? I'm very excited to be here and doing this with you all today. So let's get into it. Oh my gosh, not the blame game. The reason I don't like the blame game is because there's no solution, there's no growth, okay? And I think it comes from a lot of people just feeling upset and helpless in a situation. Like, this teacher was really upset because she was threatened by the student, and the student threatened her with his or her mom as well. So basically, and my mom going to come in and handle you too, okay? The teachers have to deal with this. Students are sent back into the classroom, and the teachers have to deal with them in the classroom and without feeling safe or without being respected. You know what I mean? And dealing with their disruptive behavior. Now, I'm very firm on this. This is why we all have to get together and be on the same page, because we have to change the game. The class classroom is not a place for behavior. It's not. A classroom is supposed to be a place for learning. Okay? So this is really important for us to have a solution for this behavior, so that the classroom can become a place for learning again, and our kids can get what they really need. Okay? So first and foremost, let's start with the teachers. What do teachers need? Okay? I'm going to start right off. Classroom management. Classroom management. Understand that, and I meet a lot of teachers in my business, what I do now, I'm tutoring company, coaching company, where I teach kids and I grow them behaviorally at the same time. And one of the features of my program is, and benefits, is that I communicate with the teachers as well. So I actually had a teacher conference yesterday, and we were talking about behavior in the classroom from one of my students. And I was giving her some tips. The average teacher is not prepared, and they don't learn this when they are in school. They're not prepared for what they encounter in the classroom. There's no way. There's no book for this. Okay? The book. Y'all gotta understand, these are people, these are kids. You know what I mean? So there's no book for this. There's no way you can study this. It has to be ongoing. So classroom management has to be taught to teachers first coming into school, and then any teacher that's having some issues in the classroom, that needs to be a priority. As a matter of fact, classroom management, if there's behavior in the classroom going on, that's most important. That's more important than anything, okay? And then we're going to put more serious over here, crisis management. And I've witnessed this as a teacher, and I know this goes on, okay? If the teacher is teaching, kids start cursing the teacher out or being disruptive in the classroom, and she can't teach, and she tries to reprimand the child, and it escalates, and now the child is having a tantrum, and they have to call security, and all this other stuff. The teacher should be equipped and trained on how to cut that mess off before you even get out of hand. There's a way you can do it, okay? And teachers need to be trained on how to recognize the signs, how to manage the whole class. One key thing for teachers and for mental health specialists, like I was a mental health specialist first. Whenever one of the kids started to have a tantrum, I knew not to just focus on the child. You got to focus on the child, and you got to focus on the rest of the kids, because that right there is their audience, okay? And behavior, like I said, the three things we need to remember about behavior: any negative behavior, avoidant behavior, disruptive behavior. There are three important things. Number one, it's a form of communication. Number two, there's a purpose to it, right? What am I trying to get other people to do? What am I trying to get out of doing by using this behavior, right? And number three, it needs an audience to survive. So if you work on the audience and how people respond to their behavior, then it's remarkable what happens. And I've used this technique over and over and over, and I've seen it work every single time. And what's happening is, in the classroom, with crisis management and classroom management, teachers have to know how to teach the whole entire class what to do when they spot any signs of negative attention-seeking behavior or disruptive behavior. How do they respond? What does the teacher expect from them? Okay, that is so important, because when you get the rest of the kids to, when a crisis unfolds and the kids start acting out and throwing things or whatever, and then you got to deal with that kid, and the rest of the kids just like, I'm about to start coloring, or let me pull out my independent work folder, and I'm going to work on that while the teacher's handling that. You know what I mean? And you better, okay? That's how it was with my students. Then the adults know how to respond to the child acting out, or the teacher does. Then after a while, that behavior starts to die down. So that's one piece of a training program that should be put in place for teachers so that they run their classroom and the kids not running their classroom. Any child that's in their classroom disrupting the class, if it's one, if it's two, if it's three, there needs to be an airtight plan for them. So as soon as they start, ... Okay? Also, now the teacher is not all by herself. So she does what she's supposed to do. The other kids do what they're supposed to do and expect. But then if the behavior still goes on, or after a tantrum happens in their class, next step. All right? Next step. The teacher did her part. Now she got to focus back on teaching. Now it's not the teacher's job to maintain the child's behavior every single day, all day. What are we expecting here? Okay? So then that's when administration comes in. There needs to be a system and for that child to go into where they are not allowed, they don't have an audience, they're not allowed to hang out, they're not allowed to go to recess, they're not allowed to do all the fun things. They will be in that area, wherever it is, in school suspension or detention or wherever, but they can't just sit there. They have to be working. They have to be growing themselves. And they're going to still be learning. This is what I do in my program. I call it behavior growth detention, okay? Only 4 students have ever had to do that because nobody don't want to do that, okay? Because they have to write 5 paragraphs on their choices, what they should have done, how it affected other people. They have to figure out a plan. They have to write the 5 paragraphs. Then they have to edit and revise it. And I have to approve it. Then the detention is over. So it might take a couple of classes. They ain't trying to do that. Okay? But they're growing in their thinking. They're also growing in their writing. They're growing in their reading. They're growing in their spelling. Okay? So it has to be something where the audience is totally taken away, and now they have to work on themselves, and this must be done before you go back to class. And not only that, any other missing work that you were supposed to be doing in class, you'll be doing in there. Okay? So a system, whatever the system is, that's just an example of one, where that kid is out of the classroom. Now the teacher can go back to teaching, and then the classroom can go back to being a classroom. There's a community that needs to be built in these classrooms where the kids, and this is my experience teaching, are like, we're not having that. Come on, man, you play too much. Come on, I'm trying to listen. You know what I'm saying? So they shut that down. So it's not everybody is kind of playing around, but then there's one kid that's the leader. No, everybody in the classroom respects the classroom. They care about the classroom. They take ownership of the classroom, and they don't allow that nonsense to disrupt their learning. Okay? So that needs to be put in place for the teachers. Also, the teachers need self-care. I always talk about moms. We need self-care. Like, I always talk about that. It's very easy for moms to get overwhelmed and stressed because we're always on, okay? We're always on. Like right now, Jazzy went out. She'll be back soon. And Maya is in the room with my husband, right? Because we're always on. And I need to focus on doing this, okay? So for moms, it could be very overwhelming when the job of a mom gets tough and life and bills and work, you know what I mean? Or business and everything else. We wear so many hats. But let's look at it from a teacher's perspective too. The teacher may be a mama wearing all those hats, and then she come to school and she got to deal with behavior problems in her classroom. That's a lot. So that self-care has got to be an integral part of the teacher training that's going on, okay? When I was a teacher, there was a lot of training on the latest, the best practices when it came to teaching. These need to be added. And classroom management too. But classroom management, crisis management, self-care. Classroom management, crisis management, self-care. Crisis, you know what I mean? Classroom management. It has to be something that is really important because you got to get that school on lock, okay? And understanding the kids that are, or everyone knowing the kids that are displaying these behaviors, the whole school got to be ready to support, and the whole school got to be like, this ain't gonna happen. And they got to be paying attention to that child. Like, you respecting your teacher? You understand what I'm saying? You listening? What you doing today? Like, everybody, this is very important. Another thing is rewarding the kids. And I just thought of this right now, so I'm going to just add it. There, of course, there needs to be rewarding the children who have the most intense behavior problems when they start to grow themselves, of course. But man, reward those kids who doing what they're supposed to do. Always acknowledging. That's how we do in this classroom. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you a champion. That's a leader right there. Always acknowledging them and then rewarding them so that we change the classroom environment. And teaching our kids, we got to raise the standards. We got to have some standards for not only their work. We got to get, come on, late assignments and more late assignments and running past the due date. You know what I mean? Not doing their best. Like, we really have to raise the standards when it comes to their performance, homework and studying at home, okay? But also the way that they interact with the teachers. And the way that they talk to the teachers. That's so important. We have to raise the standards for their behavior. So it has to be high standards across the board for everyone. And then with the standards raised, it's not easy for a child who's trying to bring everyone down to his level or her level by acting out. It's not easy for them to get there because this is the structure right here. This is where you got to go. We're not going down to you. Okay? And then lastly with this, we talk about the school and the teachers, a lot of kids in my experience, behavior problems go along with the inability to read and function on or above grade level. For kids who have trouble reading, work on their own, have trouble spelling, they don't want to write because they feel like they're going to get it wrong. They shouldn't be dealing with this day after day after day after day after day after day and year after year after year after year. This is a problem, okay? So all the kids, there needs to be a separate program, an intense program. Any child that's not reading on grade level, they need a program where they are improving their reading all the time, improving their spelling all the time, improving their writing all the time. And I always start with literacy. As a matter of fact, when I first started this program, I started teaching. That was my offer, y'all. I was going to teach grades 3 to 5 only, and only literacy. But moms were requesting that I teach other grades and other ages, right, of kids. So that I said, okay, for little kids. I started getting a lot of requests for little kids, for moms who see some behavior starting to develop, and also moms who just want their child to be ahead of the game, right? And we've accomplished that. Definitely. So I said, okay, they have to be at least 4 years old to start. And then I started teaching middle school, and now I started teaching high school. Now I have a high school, and I have a student in college starting on the 28th of this month, okay? So I start with literacy, and then later on I added math by request. The reason I focus on literacy is because, well, first, I am a word nerd. I love reading. I love spelling. I'm the one that's watching Wheel of Fortune, okay? I'm the one that's watching and try to guess, you know what I mean, the puzzle before everybody else does, and I'm pretty good, all right? So that's me. And spelling bees when I was younger, like, I love literacy. And math is cool too, but that's my first love, okay? Not only that, that's like 75% of the day. How can our children expect to navigate school when they can't read? It's everywhere. It's in their worksheets. It's on the board. It's in the hallways. You understand? And we don't want them to always be in a position where somebody has to read something to them. Unacceptable. Okay? So that's why I focus on literacy first. When you get that literacy foundation program going, definitely you can add math, because there's a lot of kids who are counting with their fingers and they are a lot older. That's unacceptable too. But whatever they don't know, they will know. But understand that in the classroom, the teacher is trying to teach on a grade level, teach the curriculum, and they're scaffolding in the classroom. They have different levels where they teach kids, but how can a teacher respect to if a child is really below grade level, they need another source of teaching, learning, tutoring, whatever, okay? So that the class keeps moving and everybody moves forward. So this is what I feel like teachers need. Under no circumstances should we allow our children to disrespect teachers, because we want the teachers to go to bat for our children. We want the teachers to go the extra mile for our children. So they need support, okay? Now, I'm saying this like I don't do the blame game. I'm just setting a standard and just talking about solution here, okay? Teachers stink. A lot of teachers stink. They have no home training. Mom's not trying. She don't do nothing. But I understand, because I work with a lot of moms, and I'm a mom myself, that you don't know really what's going on in the house, right? Mom could be trying but just doesn't know what to do. Mom could be trying but just overwhelmed with life or depressed. You know what I mean? She might feel helpless. She might keep going and trying things, and then it not working, and she's stressed out about it, okay? The disconnect happens when there's no communication between the teachers and the moms on a teacher, a person to person kind of level, okay? Because the mom has to understand what the teacher's a person, and the teacher has to understand that the mom is a person, and they both go through things. What do we both want for our child student, right? That's why I say our champions in my program, right? What do we want for them to be able to do? What do you need in a classroom? What do you need at home? Okay? And build a bridge. So it's not that moms don't care, or they're not trying, or they don't do anything. Moms do be trying. They do stuff. A lot of times it doesn't work. They're overwhelmed at home, just like teachers are overwhelmed at school. Everybody need a plan. Okay? So this is with the teachers, and this is management. And administration. Now we're going to talk real quick about at home. I'm going to call some moms out, and I'm going to call myself out too, okay? This is my green juice, y'all. I made, it's kale. It's pretty dark green leafy kale. Kale in here, cucumber, green apple, lime, and ginger. Very good. Whew, I almost went somewhere else. That's good. All right. So, moms, sometimes, I'm gonna keep it real. Sometimes when our children be in a class acting a fool, okay, and the teacher be overwhelmed and they tell us about it, a lot of times the way that we respond is by criticizing the teacher, right? That is something that we really shouldn't do, and not do around our children. I'm saying this, I'm not criticizing, I'm not doing a blame game. Like I said, I'm just solution. And a lot of stuff I tell y'all about, I've learned from personal experience. I did this with my oldest daughter because I was already upset that the teacher was absent a lot. She had medical problems, and she was absent a lot, okay? So I was being overprotective. I was complaining about that all the time. My oldest daughter peeped that. She was doing what she was supposed to do in class, and she just got me to focus on that. This is what kids do, right? And instead of being responsible and just going to my daughter, because it doesn't matter if the teacher's in the classroom or not. This is how you interact with adults. This is how you sit your butt down in that chair, do your work. You know what I mean? I was focusing more on the teacher, okay? And sometimes moms will complain about teachers in front of their children, which is a no-no, because you're sending that child back to the school and you want them to respect and value their teacher. If we have a problem with how the teacher is getting down in the classroom, or if some words were exchanged or the teacher yelled at our child or whatever it is, we have to get the whole picture, the whole conversation, the whole interaction. We have to ask our child what went down, and we have to ask them a couple of times so that we make sure their story is straight. Then we have to talk to the teacher, but not in a way like we coming up there like we got a problem with you, but in a supportive kind of way, and just find out all the details of what happened. But always understand this: if our child is in the classroom, sitting down, working when they're supposed to work, and being respectful of the teacher is not going to have a negative interaction with them. Let's just keep it real, okay? If you've had experience where your child really was doing everything they're supposed to do, and the teacher just picked on them, let me know. But that's not generally what happens. This is why, as a tutor and coach, and as a teacher, when I was a teacher, and then as a mental health specialist, this is how I learned this phrase, take responsibility for your actions. This is why I work on this so much with my students, because it's very easy for kids to come up short, to not do what they're supposed to do, and then sit back and point to the teacher and expect the mom to fill in the gaps, and then just sit down and watch it all happen. That's a no-no. If we want our children to be champions, then we want them to take responsibility for their actions. We want them to have expectations for themselves, okay? We want them to have self-control. This is a self party. We have self-awareness, self-control, self-discipline, self-motivation, self-accountability. And no way possible should we be allowing them to have a problem going on in school and they don't acknowledge what they did to contribute to the problem, or what they should have done, or what they didn't do that they were supposed to do. Okay? I'll give y'all a classic example. This is classic. I know y'all heard this before as kids. We were younger. We used to hear this from our moms. If you got to go to that bathroom and your teacher say, no, you just go. Don't sit there and pee on yourself. Go to the bathroom. I'll deal with the teacher, right? Times have changed, okay? Kids are using that because they don't want to stay in the classroom, because they don't want to do their work, as a way to get out of the classroom. So we have to hold our kids accountable, and we have to tell them, use the bathroom when you're supposed to use the bathroom. When it's time to work, it's time to work. I don't want to keep hearing that you're trying to use the bathroom every time it's time to have class. When are the bathroom breaks? This is when you use the bathroom. We have to instill that into our children. That will eliminate a lot of problems. So when I was teaching, I had a student who used to do that all the time, and she was so mad. It was my only girl in the class. Now I have most of my students are girls now, to tell you the truth. I have boys and girls now, but as a special education teacher back then, it was mostly boys and one girl. And I call her my little princess. She used to be all the time fighting every day. And my mother told me, and this is what you don't want your child doing in school. I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, you do not want your child in school saying this to the teacher and using you to back them up so that they don't have to listen to the teacher or do what they're supposed to. You don't want that. So she was doing all this stuff, and my mother going to come up here and she going to deal with you. Now she threatened me, her little self. And I was like, all right, this is my prep time. Tell her she can come. Okay? Come and talk to me. I love to talk to her. Now sit down. Okay? Now, I want to give y'all some background before y'all be like, oh, you didn't let her go to the bathroom. You should have all the... No. I knew she was just using it to get out of the classroom. Plus, this is where structure come in. I had a lot of bathroom breaks. And I used those bathroom breaks as time to teach my students how to walk in the hallway, how to stay focused, no talking in the hallway, wait your turn, how to behave in the bathroom. When you come out, get back in line, next person. This is the group, this is the line leader, this is the one in the back, it calls it the caboose back then, right? This is your job, this is your job. And I've had those breaks multiple times throughout the day. My students had multiple opportunities to use the bathroom. So, because I didn't want to have that, because when it was time to work, it's time to work, okay? So yeah, her mom did come up to school, yelling, cursing. It was a big deal downstairs. And then I came down, and I want to see her, blah, blah, blah. She was yelling, and I walked up to her, and I said her name. I was like, I didn't want to talk to you. Sure, come on, let's go upstairs. And then we went upstairs, And we talked about it, and she understood then, and we called the little girl out, and she told her to listen to me and go to the bathroom she's supposed to, What we don't want to do, we don't want to be getting all hyped up from what our children tell us, and then sending them to school feeling like they have a right to not follow the rules, not have to do their work, not respect the teacher. We don't want that, okay? What I was doing as a mom, because I knew better, okay? Professionally, I knew better, but as a mom, it's not easy when this is your child. You understand? So as a mom, what I was doing was my daughter would be complaining about the teacher and stuff, or saying she was absent again today, and I'm like, again? Listen, and I'm doing all that nonsense in front of her. So when she went to school, she really looked at the teacher the way I was complaining about her. She didn't look at the teacher like she has to respect the teacher, she has to listen. She looked at the teacher like, you absent all the time. How can I possibly learn and improve myself or improve my work if you hardly here? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why we have to be very careful. We have to be very clear about our expectations for our children. And then if we have any issues, we should just have questions, okay? If we have any questions, we can talk to our teachers. Next, so at home, okay? Get the whole story, okay? Get the whole story. Hold our children accountable. Hold our children accountable. Like, we gotta make sure we hold them accountable. And when they go into the classroom, we gotta make sure that they respect the teacher. If we have some questions about what's going on, or something didn't hit us right, we heard from our child, we want to talk to the teacher in private. That's it. We have to talk to the teacher in private, and then we have to make sure the teacher and me, like, I gotta put a period at the end of that sentence. Talk to the teacher in private, right? We have to make sure that our kids don't see us at odds with the teacher, because that leaves room for them to manipulate and sit down and feel like they don't have to really work hard at what they're supposed to be doing. This is an adult conversation, okay? If I need to get down to the bottom of something, I will. All right? But this is an adult conversation. You don't even have to say that. Just listen to them, ask them questions, ask them the story a couple of times, get all the information you need, and then hold them accountable for what they're supposed to be doing. And then you can talk to the teacher in private. Get it done. Oh, hey girl. Look at she trying to run. Come over here and say hi to the people. She's so shy. She's not like, this is Jazzy right here, my oldest. Come over here and say hi. She's so, this is my oldest, y'all. My 15-year-old Jazzy Jazz. How you doing?
Good.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
I'll be done in a few. Okay. Maya, y'all see Maya all the time, but Jazzy, she started walking. She saw it. She's like, that's my shy one. She's more like her dad. Jazzy, Maya's more like me. Okay, so we talk to the teacher in private. We hold our children accountable. Now, another thing, before there is an issue that gets out of hand, we need to develop a relationship with the teacher. Develop a relationship with the teacher. And a bridge between school and home, between the teacher and us. This is going to solve a lot of problems. I'm trying to tell you, because teachers need to be supported. If they deal with your child's behavior every day and they don't have a relationship with you and talk to you and feel like they can let you know what's going on, and they understand you, you understand them, this behavior is going to be ongoing. It's going to be a huge problem, okay? And then the teacher, tell you the truth, they're going to put their hands up, because your child's behavior will become more important than their learning. And of course it will, because it's in the way. That's what I say, is your child's behavior getting in the way of their academic success. And this is what I do. I help to get that behavior out of the way so that your child can grow. But if your child's behavior is prominent in the classroom, you teach how to deal with that every day, they're not worried about focusing on your child learning, your child growing, your child getting better, improving their grades, because the behavior is what they have to deal with every single day, okay? Your child also is not focused on that because they're using this behavior in the class all the time, okay? So you develop a relationship and develop a bridge where we communicate with the teacher on a regular basis. And I recommend, and this is the way I do my program, so meet with your child's teacher once a month. Now, your child may be very busy. I'm very lucky that in my program, the teachers agree to meet with me. And sometimes it's hard for them to meet every single month, but I'm contacting them every single month. And I'm grateful because it's something, we got to understand this. Teachers have meetings. Teachers have work to do. They have standards to teach. They're very busy. And they take work home. So your meeting is an additional meeting. So we have to understand that. But if your child is displaying a lot of behaviors in the classroom and causing a lot of trouble, disruption, and your meetings, when you're meeting with the teacher, is starting to improve, your teacher will be good with that. They will be good. Meet with the teacher once a month. It could be a Zoom meeting. It could be a Google Meet meeting. It could be an email. It could be a phone meeting, quick 10-minute phone call. Some of the teachers I meet with, they can meet with me for like 20 minutes, okay? But as long as there's progress, y'all, teachers be happy to see you. And that's what they be happy to see me. You know what I'm saying? Because they see the progress since we, when I meet with them. And over the month, I always ask, what do you want them to accomplish over this next month? They tell me, we start working on that right away. And then the next month when we meet, they're like, yeah, I definitely see the improvement. It's not an issue anymore. One of my students had a problem with the cell phone, fighting her over the cell phone. And that is completely gone, okay? And one of my students, her teacher yesterday said, you don't want me to tell Miss Sharita that you're behaving this way. And she's like, oh, and then she gets it together, right? My students, look, it's virtual, but we get it in, all right? They know I love them, but my mom's described me a balance between, what did they say? Toughness, nurturing, and caring, okay? I'm tough when I need to be, but I love them, all right? So making sure that you meet with your child's teacher once a month through any of those ways. And what that's going to do, that's going to build a bridge. Your child is going to know that they can't really get away with much. My students know that their parents are my BFFs, right? So one of my students, I told him he got to stay later because he was acting up in my class. And you're not going to disrupt my class. I'm going to focus on the rest of the students, and I'll just meet you right after. Then at the end, no, it was one of my girl students. At the end, she started saying, I got to go. My mom said I have this and that. I was like, I just texted your mom. It's cool. Like, you know what I mean? But what if I didn't have that interaction with mom? We wasn't texting. You know what I mean? She didn't know I was texting. We was texting each other. But what if I didn't have that interaction with mom? Now I have that wall. I'm trying to give some discipline here, okay, and some structure that's going to remove this behavior, which it did. It worked. How am I going to do that if I don't have a relationship with mom? So teachers build relationships with moms, and moms build relationships with teachers. Also, as a teacher, I did the same thing. I emailed my moms constantly, let them know when their child accomplished something academically that they couldn't accomplish before, or if their behavior was so good today, that day. I emailed them or I sent them a message. You know what I mean? Constantly doing that. I sent home good reports and also not so good reports. But I didn't just communicate with mom when it was not so good reports over and over and over and over again. Okay? When that happens, teachers, moms start to withdraw from the school. And you wonder why you may be trying to reach out to mom about their child's behavior. You won't get a call back. You won't get no interaction. Mom come up and she got an attitude. It's not you. Even if moms, you gotta be careful of this. When you interact with the teacher, come off gruff. You come off like you don't really want to deal with what the teacher's saying or blaming the teacher. Understand, that's not you either, teachers. That's mom being stressed. Don't know what to do again about this report. Another bad report about her child with no solution. Okay? And as mothers, oh my gosh, like, y'all, I love teaching. I'm very passionate about teaching, but there's nothing that I love more, value more, as hard as it is, than being a mom. Okay? Those are my babies right there, okay? So, but they hurt, I hurt. If they struggle in school, I'm struggling. If they act up in school, I take it personally. I'm a mom. I can't help it. And I'm sure moms feel the same way. So when that happens, in order for there to draw the moms in, teachers, this is what I did. I sent home good reports, and I sent home the reports where they wasn't doing so good. I met with moms, and I talked about their progress. And then I said, so this is something that they've been struggling with or not, they haven't accomplished, or that's a problem right now, and this is my plan. But I was an expert at behavior modification. This is why I said teachers need this. When a teacher can say, this is the behaviors that I noticed in the classroom, this is the plan that I put in place. It's already starting to work. Next, I'm going to do this, okay? And I'll let you know how it work out. The mom is sitting there like, oh no, he can't be doing that. That can't happen. Like, he should know better, right? That's what I'm being mom right now. I'm mom, then be like, teacher. Then mom, then teacher, right? Because I've been on both sides, right? And then she's like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna definitely talk to him, or I'm gonna deal with him, right? Or her. So mom is doing that, but mom can't be in a classroom and at home at the same time. So that's where that feeling of helplessness comes in. So if you teachers, you have a plan to say, this is what I did when this happened, and this is what, we're doing, and this is what's going to happen next, and blah, blah, blah. I'll let you know. That gives so much reassurance to mom. And then mom, you can say, I've noticed the same thing at home. This is what I've done, and this is what I've tried, and this is, y'all collaborate. Collaborate, okay? That is going to be so much better for the child. Because remember, I'm talking about the child, and I'm going to get with them in a second. We ain't leaving them out. We ain't leaving them out. Because I am very big on children taking responsibility for their actions and growing themselves and finding solutions, okay? Because, look, we got the teachers working in administration with the support for the teachers. Everybody needs a plan, right? We got moms at home or dads. I talk about moms a lot. Y'all know y'all my people, but dads too. And I have some dads in the program. So moms and dads. Let me put a heart there because I know I was neglecting y'all a little bit. I love you, right? So this is what the teachers doing. This is what moms are doing. Now we got a bridge. I'm so passionate about this. Let me check the timer. Oh, we got 9 minutes. Now we got a bridge right here of how this whole thing's supposed to go down, okay? I'm checking. Okay, good. We got a bridge. This is airtight. Ain't nothing getting through. Now, teacher has expectations. Mom has expectations. The child knows that they can't manipulate teachers and moms. The child's behavior is a problem. But you understand that this is not who this child is. This is behavior, okay? This is the same baby, you know what I mean, that we gave birth to, okay? And when my first child, Jazzy, you just saw her, she's 15 years old now, taller than me, long arms like her daddy. I always ask her to get stuff up and high in the cabinet, right? But she was born, that was a very difficult birth for me, okay? But when I first saw her, Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. She's that same child. She's that same baby. Okay? Sometimes things happen and then behavior, it starts to be prevalent. We got to get our children back to who they really are. And then have them think like a champion, improve their mindset, and then reach for the stars. Okay? So we don't want to look at it like the kid is a problem. This child is using behavior. And it's what children do. They're using behavior because it works. And it helps them avoid doing things that they don't want to do. Or they may be nervous about. I've definitely seen kids be nervous when they had to read aloud or spell something or take a test. Okay? They're nervous about those things. And then they start to behave a certain way. Or they've been behaving this way and they haven't had the structure that they needed when they were younger. So now they keep doing that, and that's what they want. They don't want adults putting structure around them. They do, but they don't know they do until it starts to work and their life gets better. So, but this child has to have high expectations. This child has to know that you respect your teacher. Respect the teacher. And the teacher should be like, respect mom. Listen, if I'm talking to one of my students, and I've been like this for years, and they talking, and their mom is there, and they talk a little, I'm like, hey, I want you to say that again. Apologize to your mom. Okay? Because we have to teach them how to respect the teacher, how to respect the moms and dads, right? We got to teach them this. We can't allow them to act any way they want to act and say it's because they have this problem or that problem or this problem, that problem. Enough! They're going to stay stuck in the same place. So, they need to respect. They need expectation standards. They need respect. They need consequences. Consequences. Oh, we scared of that nowadays. We scared of consequences nowadays. But as somebody who has been using consequences over the years for kids and customizing them so that they can grow and change their behavior, replace it with something else that's going to serve them and grow them so that they can get to the next level, I know how necessary consequences are. Kids, consequences are like this. It helps kids think about their choices. Like, last time I did this, this is what happened. But I want this outcome. We got to teach them how to think. Okay? And decide to make a good choice. But if there are no consequences here, there's no reason to think about their choices. Okay? And they need goals. Because some of our kids are so focused on their behavior, get in trouble, behavior, get in trouble, that they don't see anything else. So they should have goals that they are working towards. And they should be goals, they should be overall, we can't make it too general, like do better in school. We have to give them goals that they can manage and they can accomplish quickly so they can start getting success under their belt right away. And when that happens, they're going to continue to look for more. They get greedy for it. They love it. It feels good to accomplish stuff. Yeah, there's some fear of what if it doesn't work out? What if I can't keep it up? Some self-sabotage. But again, we customize what we do for that. Okay? But these kids need this. Under no circumstance. Then, oh my gosh. They need to know what is not tolerated. Absolutely not. Under no circumstances. I don't care how mad you are. I don't care how. We can't let kids come home and then they disrespected their teacher or they didn't listen or they didn't complete their work and they have a reason for it. And we say, oh, okay, that's why. Somebody else should have done this. No, we want our kids to be able to always figure it out, always have solutions, and always acknowledge their mistakes and fix them. You know what I mean? We want them thinking better than that. So some things are just not tolerated. Remember how I told you at the beginning when I created that behavior modification system in my class, my first permanent class as a teacher? I was so happy. I was so grateful. I created it. I put it up. There was what was up there and the consequence next to it. These were all the not tolerated items. Under no circumstances will you do this. This is the consequence. Will you do this? This is the consequence. Cursing was there too. Absolutely not. There would be no cursing in my classroom. And then, of all the time that I've been teaching in this tutoring coaching program, one curse has slipped. Okay? So it's like, oh, sorry. Now I know before they met me and then outside, whatever, they may use profanity, right? And it was something, and I've heard, like, I hear reports of my students just going off, and I'm like, whoa, let me talk to them, schedule an extra appointment, because we're going to have to get that together, okay? But in my presence, no. This is absolutely not tolerated. So moms, what I want you to do, and teachers, what I want you to do, is get a list of not tolerated at the top, the title, and write it down. This is not tolerated. Do not allow yourself to tolerate these things any longer. You don't have to. Teachers, that classroom is like your house, okay? So the kids must respect your house. They have to come in and respect it. They have to make sure you're not making a mess in there. They got to put stuff back. They have to listen to where you tell them to sit. They have to follow the structure of how it is to line up. This is your house. Just like moms. If you want your kitchen cleaned up in a certain way, they have to follow that. You want them to not eat in the living room, that's your house, okay? So we need this structure around so that our children, we got to clamp down on the structure. And then when we clamp down on the structure, then we can grow them from inside of that. If there's no structure, and I'm picturing a box, and I was talking to you about a bear hug, like our kids need a bear hug. That's what I mean by that. We put that structure in place. Then that's what, and they don't have an escape here. They can't escape here. They can't go over here. They can't do this. They can't do that. All the things that they do to act out, to avoid doing what they're supposed to do, to run away from reading, to run away from doing their work, to run away from consequences. We put a box around it, right? And whatever is customized, whatever needs to be done, then they start taking responsibility for the actions. They start to figure things out. They start to think about what they need to do. All that happens here, okay? So this must happen. This is the most important thing. Then they can grow in all the other areas we want them to grow, okay? So teachers, get that, figure out what you want in school and these not tolerated and consequences. Figure that out. Write it down. Mom, same things. Teach our kids this. No teacher should have to deal with being cursed out. No teacher should have to deal with being threatened or worry about going outside and having her car keyed. I remember when I was working in Newton Street School, there's one of the girls there that did that. One of the teachers was upset because she reprimanded the girl. She was happy about it, gave a consequence. She went outside and she just keyed her car. Have I ever had that happen to me? No. Have I gotten in a lot of kids' faces? Yeah. I have. And nobody ever damaged anything of mine, okay? The only thing that happened is one of my students stole my wallet, okay, when I was teaching at Equipment Street School in Newark, okay? One of my students stole my wallet. I actually write about it. It's a story, no names or nothing, in my book, Kids Give Advice. You can get that on Amazon and put the link below, okay? So, yeah, it's a writing workbook, and it has role play in it, and it has a writing organized in it, and then the kids read the story, and they role play, they come up with solutions, and they figure out what should be done. Like, you're giving advice to the child in the story. So that's really the only thing that happened. Nobody's ever destroyed my things. But I'm not afraid to get in the kid's face because I know when it's needed. The kids know, and the ones that I battle the most with for their growth, those are the ones who become most loyal because they know I cared enough to have some not tolerated. You know what I mean? Have these here, like, I'm just not going to tolerate this. They know that, and so that they can grow, and kids respect you for it. At first, they will fight you, but they respect you. Listen, let's get together and do whatever we have to do so that these kids get into this structure and they stop doing whatever they want to do, because this is their futures. This is their present and futures going up in flames. They don't know how to stop it. But when we put that around and we build that bridge and that connection, and they start to improve and grow themselves, then, and they see themselves differently, they will feel differently about themselves and they will appreciate it. But they will fight you tooth and nail. I know this. Let's not be afraid of the fight. Let's not be afraid of the fight so that we don't do what we should do to get our schools back, get our homes back. Let's support these teachers out here. Let's support these moms out here, right? So that we can take care of this problem. Because no teacher should be, the amount of teachers quitting now due to behavior is ridiculous. No teacher should feel like they should have to quit their job, or they should worry about their safety, nor should they go to school every day being disrespected by kids. That's too much stress. Moms at home, same thing. You shouldn't have to worry about your stuff being destroyed. You shouldn't have to worry about your child not listening and not respecting you, okay? So everybody, let's clamp down and let's support these moms out here. Let's support these teachers out here. Let's support dads. Let's support principals. Let's support schools. Let's all work together so that we can grow our champions, because that's what they are. They just don't know it yet, all right? I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I want to let you know about my tutor coaching program. If you're looking for a tutor and a coach, because that's what I do both, okay, who will help improve your child's behavior and learning and focus, literacy, and math. We do it all here because I feel like that's the only way to solve the problem for real, okay? Because the behaviors get in the way of the learning. So if you don't take care of the behavior, the child is not going to grow as fast as they should grow. They may be stuck with their learning, okay? And if we just try to take care of learning without taking care of the behavior keeps getting in the way, all right? So we do both at the same time here for real success in the classroom and in life. Also, we're teaching Black history here all year round, okay? And I cannot wait. We get enough students in the classroom, we will get started. So to enroll in a Black history all year round class, go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com and book a free phone consultation or DM me, okay? All right? If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to post what my next live is at the end, okay? Share, feel free to like, comment, and share this video. Share it to teachers, share it to moms, share it to principals, you know. Share this video so that we all work together to improve our children's behavior and learning. We got this, y'all, all right? Believe in yourself, believe in your child, and always remember that growth is unlimited. Love y'all. Peace.